Belkin is already working on a couple of new accessories, a car mount and a multi-charger dock.
Huh, that's pretty cool. A stand that doubles as a phone charger and an Apple Watch charger. Kind of elevates it in the air. Uses Magsafe. Pretty neat. Huh. $150? There is no way in hell I'm spending $150 on a phone charger. I did it. Really gone and done it. Hey YouTube, it's Justin Bruzzo, and this is my long-term review of the Boost Charge Pro 3-in-1 wireless charger with Magsafe by Belkin. Boy, that's a mouthful. So I really had resolved, despite this thing looking very cool, that I would never spend $150 on a phone charger. That's just insane. But 6 months after I saw this for the first time, I happened to be traveling with my wife and we forgot our phone chargers. Not a big deal, we just needed one, we could split it. So I figured, hey, there's a flagship Apple store just down the street. Let me go run down there and I'll grab a charger for us. I was also thinking, since we both had iPhone 12s, why not get a Magsafe charger? Because we hadn't had one yet, so I figured if I'm gonna buy a new charger, I might as well upgrade and get the Magsafe charger. So as I went in the store and I started browsing around, I realized that I need the Magsafe charger, and I also needed a power brick to plug that Magsafe charger into. So then came what my wife calls the Justin-fication, because as I'm there, I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna have to spend, it's about $30 for the Magsafe charger. It's another 20 bucks for the brick. And I was also thinking it would be nice to have one extra charger for my Apple Watch. Even though the wire's only this big, it's still a pain in the neck, and when I'm traveling, it would have been great if I had one I could just leave in my bag and have with me all the time. So when I was all said and done, I was looking at almost $70 just to buy or 80 bucks, 70, 80 bucks to buy a charger, a phone charger, and an Apple Watch charger, which was just insane to me. And I figured, you know what, if I'm gonna spend $80, I might as well just spend double that and at least get a beautiful fixture that will display off my gorgeous iPhone 12 Pro with my Apple Watch and possibly even my wife's Apple Airpods. So, $150 later, I walk out the store with my new mouthful of a charger. So I want to talk a little bit about the obvious. I don't think there's anything super sophisticated or special that really anyone needs to know about it, other than the fact that, yeah, it really does look nice. It also works flawlessly. I've had this for about 2 months now, and I have not had any issues with it ever charging a device. The phone just clips right on easily and magnetically, just as it would with its standard MagSafe charger, and the Apple Watch hangs just as you would expect. Now, there are just a few things that I wish it did have, and there's a few shortfalls on this. The first is that those phone is not tiltable up and down. For me, it's not a big deal because I'm never using my phone when it's on the charger itself. But if you are someone who likes to use the phone while it charges, it's kind of an awkward angle if you're standing, and it's also kind of an awkward angle too high if you're sitting. And it would have been great if they could have figured out a way to make that a swivel. In terms of the build quality, this charger is absolutely beautiful. It obviously has a very solid base. It's very heavy at the bottom, so it's not going to slide around at all. But one thing I noticed is because the phone sits so much higher than the base, despite the super weight of that base and the fact that it has a really grippy rubberized material, I have found that, especially on top of my nightstand, when I push the phone onto the charger, it tends to rotate the whole thing. It's a very small inconvenience, but it is a little bit annoying, and I wish there was a way for that to just be a little heavier or a little more of a grip, and I don't know that it does. Interestingly, it never slides back or pulls forward when you take the phone off. It's only that putting it on and having that leverage kind of in that upper corner, and it just causes the whole thing to rotate a little bit. Not an issue with the watch, because the watch just kind of hangs there and there's really not much to push onto. Now, of course, if you recall the beginning of the story, the whole reason I ended up convincing myself that I would be better off buying this charger was because I forgot one. So of course, now I'm thinking to myself, wow, I just spent 150 bucks. If I get home and open this box and find out I'm gonna still have to buy a charger brick and a cable connected to, I'm gonna be really, really frustrated. Fortunately, and delightfully to my surprise, I opened the box, and I should have checked this at the Apple Store, of course, before I walked out. But I opened the box and there was in fact a plug with it. It's an AC adapter that just goes directly into the back of the charger. And it's a fairly long wire, which is great because if you ever buy Apple products, you know that the wires are always just too short. The big question you'll probably have is it worth $150 to buy this charger? The question is if you need to replace your phone charger and you want an extra Apple charger for your watch, and maybe you have AirPods and maybe you need a charger for that too, well, yeah, it is probably a little bit more, but worth it if you're replacing 3 chargers in one. It's also great if you're just looking to consolidate wires, because I do know it was frustrating the way my bedroom's set up to have these wires coming over the top of my bed, one for my phone, one for my watch, one for the AirPods. You end up with this real mess of wires behind your table. With this, it's just one wire, which is really kind of nice. So from a consolidation viewpoint, is it worth $150? Probably not, but if you're really neurotic about not having a lot of wires and you're willing to spend it, it certainly works and it does solve that problem, so you don't have to worry about it. Now, this is available in 2 colors. It comes with a black base and a white base. Regardless of which color you choose, the actual MagSafe chargers themselves, both for the phone and for the watch, are white. Now, one thing I noticed is that the white MagSafe charger for the iPhone, after just one night of use, I noticed I already started to see just a little bit of grime. Now, I keep my phone really clean. I don't keep it in a case. It's probably not perfect, but I do clean it regularly. I'm not out on a construction site where it's gonna get dirty. I have noticed that over the first month, there is definitely a clear ring of I guess just dirt or dust that kind of builds up on that bright white surface. And it's not a big deal, but again, it's just one of those things. It's a little bit of an inconvenience because it's such a clean, sleek design. And I kind of wish that when you bought the black model, they could wrap that whole MagSafe charger in black. Now, as you saw, that box is pretty big. It is all fully assembled. You don't have to put anything together, which is nice. You literally pull it out of the box, plug it in, and you are good to go. So if you happen to be traveling and you're looking for a just-in-fication to buy this, that is a great excuse. It comes with everything you need in the box and it's assembled, so it takes literally no time to set up. You just plug it in and you are off to the races. Now, in terms of charging speeds, of course, wireless charging is always going to be a little bit slower than if you plug a cable into your phone. But for me, as I've mentioned in some of my other videos, I charge my phone every night and I've never had a problem with my battery going to dead, especially on the Max phones. The battery always easily gets me through a day. So each night I just drop it on the charger and I let it charge overnight and I wake up to fully charged devices. That applies to both my Apple Watch and my phone. So for me, it's not a big deal that it's slow, even if it took 7 hours to charge, which it doesn't. It still charges a lot faster than the older wireless chargers would work. It's just something to keep in mind if you're someone who likes to do little boost charges here and there throughout the day. It's probably not the best device for that. As I said, this has been out for about 6 months now, so this is certainly not a new review, but as you know, I like to go back and kind of share my thoughts on things after I've used them for a long time. 1, I want to make sure that they're quality, and 2, I want to make sure that my opinion of it is actually accurate, because we always get things and sometimes we use them in the first few days, we're like, oh, this thing is so great, and then maybe a month or 2 months down the line, you realize it doesn't really fit into your workflow the way you thought it might. Just out of curiosity, if you have one of these, let me know below, and I want to know, do you like it? Do you dislike it? Have you had any problems with yours? Because it seems like a super rock solid device, albeit extremely expensive. I would love, if this thing was like $79.99, that would kind of be a sweet spot, because it would be about the same price as buying the individual chargers and would really be an easy selling point. At $150, you're really paying a huge premium for something that just looks cool. But hey, you know what? It really does look cool. It's the sleekest, prettiest, most beautiful charger that I have seen come with a mobile phone or a watch since I've had phones or watches. So from that respect, it is really cool. I absolutely love it. It certainly looks sleek in the bedroom and has a very cool modern look. As I said, this has been out for about 6 months now, so this is certainly not a new review, but as you know, I like to go back and kind of share my thoughts on things after I've used them for a long time. 1, I want to make sure that they're quality, and 2, I want to make sure that my opinion of it is actually accurate, because we always get things and sometimes we use them in the first few days, we're like, oh, this thing is so great, and then maybe a month or 2 months down the line, you realize it doesn't really fit into your workflow the way you thought it might. Hey, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please take a minute to like and subscribe to the channel. I really enjoy making these videos. I would love to hear your feedback, and I hope that my experiences are helping you in deciding whether or not these products are right for you. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.